Can you tell me a little bit about the character within the segment within the film that you...
It's within the festival, it's within London.
Exactly.
I play a woman called Bobby who's very intent on having children, but her husband isn't quite so honest about his feelings about it. And I think it really... Lucky McKee wrote it and directed it, and it's me and Mark Center, and I think it really kind of keys into that fear that a lot of us have. And, you know, I certainly understood where he was coming from. And she's on Halloween night, and she's deciding to just woman up and get her sexy witch costume on and sod all those children coming to the door. She's going to just marry it along. But it's a little bit Hansel and Gretel-like, and the witchiness of her becomes a reality, and it gets a bit scary.
Can you tell me a little bit about the process of how you originally became involved with the project?
Yeah, I worked with Lucky McKee on a movie called The Woman, and he, just as he had written that for me, he wrote this for me. So it was a really lovely, just like mates calling each other up saying, hey, would you do this movie? And I was like, of course I will. That was it.
What do you think it is about the horror genre that appeals to so many people at a festival like this?
I think it's life and death, and it's true drama, and it's... you know, it's primal urges, and it's the outsider feeling like the other, and I think that a lot of people can relate to that. And also there's kind of limitless possibility with it. I think it's also quite sort of celebratory for a lot of people to face death, you know, front on. But I think it's different for different people, you know.
Now, for me, when I think of this film, I automatically relate to things like Creepshow, Tales from the Darkside, Tales from the Crypt, Trick or Treat, all them sort of like iconic films previously. What do you hope audiences take away from after they've watched this?
You know, I haven't seen the film, so unusually I normally know what's going on in a whole movie, but I have no idea what the other stories. I have some, but I really don't know what the rest of the movie's like, so I don't know what the overreaching theme or vibe is going to be. But what I'm hearing from reviewers is that it's kind of a bit of a party, you know, it's a bit of fun, and it's a chance to celebrate Halloween. And beautifully, so many people have been saying it's something we want to watch every Halloween, you know, it's like that, get out the candy and, you know, get excited for the festival, for the holiday. And I never thought I'd make like a Christmas movie, but I feel like we've made a horror Christmas movie. And I think that's great.
It works for every occasion. And obviously, lastly, I mean, for you, what does it feel like, you know, having this film close the 5-day FrightFest that we've just endured?
Well, it's lovely, isn't it? And, you know, I have a small part in this film because there's so many people involved. You know, my part was juicy and fun to do in my section, but it's so many people brought together to do this film. And so I just get excited for everybody, especially Axelle, who produced the whole thing and brought everyone together. And, you know, obviously, there's not as many women in the film industry as it stands now. There are when they enter the business, but then there's less of them. So it's also exciting on that level. Like, you know, I don't think her sex is an issue here at all, but I still celebrate that fact.
Can you tell me a little bit about the segment which you've actually directed within this 10-story feature?
My segment is called Bad Seed. It's the closing segment of the movie. It's kind of heavily inspired by the likes of Gremlins, Jaws, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. You know, it's a killer vegetable movie. What do you want? So, yeah.
Now, I have to admit, when I first sort of like read about this, the first thing that sprung to mind was Creepshow, Tales from the Crypt, Body Bags, Tales from the Darkside, you know, Trick or Treat. Is this one of the things that sort of like attracted you to doing this project?
Very much so. We wanted to kind of capture the flavour of the anthologies like Creepshow that, you know, inspired us, and so those kind of easy comics kind of ideas. It's more in keeping with those than, I guess, more recent anthologies like VHS or ABCs of Death. So, you know, in a way, it's a little bit more traditional, and it's more of a sense of scary fun, like, because that's what Halloween is to us. It's not about trying to disturb or shock people so much as Halloween is it's as funny as it is scary. You know, it's a fun time, and so we've managed to make, you know, horror shorts that are scary, absolutely, but there's also a good sense of fun and like tongue-in-cheek attitude to the whole thing as well.
Now, what do you think yourself? Why the horror genre is so sort of like admired by so many people?
I don't know. it's such a broad-ranging genre, and it's such a long-lasting genre. And yes, it'll come and it'll go, and it'll have trends, and it'll have popularity and disappear and stuff like that. But it'll always be around, because I think it represents kind of it's like the dark heart of cinema, and everybody will want to express their darker side sooner or later, and and make these kind of jobs. It's also it's a great kind of forum for expressing things and ideas and stories that you can't really express in either a direct manner or in another genre. So it's become a great way to talk about ideas and things like that. So.
And obviously, lastly, the fact that this film has been chosen to close the 5-day event. I mean, how does that feel for you for it to be doing that?
It's an incredible honor. It's kind of strange because it's like this is actually the first film of mine that's actually screened during the festival. Because I had The Descent and Doomsday were both premieres that were hosted by FrightFest, but didn't take place during the festival. They were earlier in the year. So this is the first time one of my movies is played during the festival. And to have it close the festival is such an honor. I'm so happy about it.
And lastly, obviously now this is out, it's doing its thing. Have you got anything else in the pipeline coming up soon?
I have a few things in the pipeline. I'm working on some TV shows that I'm developing, and also a couple of features. And I desperately want to make another feature. That's the thing. I've been out too long. I've been out of the game too long. And this, this experience coming back to the festivals and kind of feeling the love that you get in these environments, which is just so awesome. It's just like I really want to do this again and do another horror movie and get back into it.
What's it like being the director or one of the 10 directors of this particular feature?
It's very exciting. It's been a surprisingly unbumpy road to get here, which was really good. I originated the idea about a year and a half ago, and then I pitched it to some of the directors, and one of them brought it to our producers, Shaquette and Patrick, and they said yes pretty much right away, and that was it was really surprising. And then we all worked together. We did those short films. Like, everybody has a different tone in the short films, and the result I'm really proud of. So it's pretty amazing to be here at FrightFest and closing the festival too, which is great. Yeah.
Now, I must admit, the first thing that springs to my mind when I think of this is Creepshow, Tales from the Darkside, Body Bags, Tales from the Crypt, Trick or Treat. I mean, is that one of the things that is this one of the reasons why you wanted to do it, so it could be associated in that sort of particular area?
The original idea for Anthology was mostly because we have so many cool friends who do so many cool things, and that we wanted to get everybody on board, and it's a great format for that kind of thing. But those films are definitely big references for us. Creepshow, we all grew up watching Creepshow. We all love it, and it very much captures the tone that we wanted to. I think that Halloween is not meant to be dark and depressing and scary. It's meant to be, spooky and fun, and it might give you a fright every once in a while, but it's all in good fun, really, and that's what we wanted to do here. So big inspiration.
Wonderful. Now, can you tell us a little bit about the segment that you've shot within the film itself?
My episode is called Grinning Ghosts, and it's I directed a ghost story called Soulmates that was at FrightFest actually 2 years ago. And it's a ghost story, but it's kind of a psychological drama, and it's a slow burn. And watching it with an audience, I never got huge reactions because it's very much it's not the kind of film where you scream and you laugh all the time. So my film is kind of a reaction to that. I wanted to make something that has 7 minutes to grab people and make something scary, and hopefully make them jump, and that would be really fun. But so it's a ghost story that's meant to be an exercise in tension.
Now, as you've just hit upon, obviously, you've tried to make a feature that's the intention of it is to make people jump. Do you think that is one of the many aspects of why everyone enjoys the horror genre so much?
Of why I enjoy horror?
Of why everyone enjoys the horror genre so much?
Jumping specifically, or
I
think one of the great things about horror is that there's so many different things you can do with it. Sure, you can be scary, and sure you can upset people, you can disgust people, but there's so many different emotions you can get out of them. You can make them laugh and still have a horror movie. You can have something that's so gory and over the top that everybody's going to have a great time, or you can really shock people, or and jumping, making people jump or scare is one of the fun things that you can do with a horror movie. And I think that in this one we really tried to cover all bases. So you want to have fun, you want to laugh watching something, you'll watch, I don't know, the This Means War or Friday the 31st, or if you want to be scared, you'll probably like Grinning Ghost or Sweet Tooth. Or there's something for everybody, hopefully.
And lastly, just quickly before I go, what does it feel like to have your film closing the 5-day event of FrightFest?
Closing FrightFest is wonderful. It's such a great event. I was lucky enough to have both my short films played at FrightFest in the main event. My first feature it was the opener of the Halloween All-Nighter 2 years ago. And then now coming back and getting to show this film in front of 3 different screens. I mean, this place is huge. It's incredible. And FrightFest means a lot for me. I've been coming since 2004, 2005. So I think this is about my 10th edition because I missed the last couple of years. So it's really special, and it's a crowd that I absolutely love. So it is a big deal.
Can you tell me a little bit about the process of what you've gone through in order to make this feature?
Tales of Halloween. It was fairly easy actually because we worked with a lot of the directors in the past. Mike Mendes and Axelle Carolyn brought the project to us, and they brought us in, and we worked with Mike Mendes on Biggest Spider, and we've been working a lot of stuff. They're in Boston. We made a movie called 11-11-11 with. So it was really working with people that are part of our community anyway. So it's actually an easy process for us. Shooting 10 different segments is hard because it's almost like shooting 10 movies. You have different locations and each one has their own cast. So it was a bit exhausting in that sense, but it was fun process.
And obviously, of all the 10 sort of individual segments themselves, do you have a particular favourite one that you enjoy most?
No, it's all like children. You know, we have 4 movies in the festival, so it's a question comes a lot, like which one is your favorite? But they're all just children. Oh, you open like 17 cameras at the same time. You guys don't see it, but behind here there is a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah. And what do you think you yourself think why everyone admires the horror genre so much?
Oh, you're asking tough questions. I think what's interesting about the genre films and horror in particular, and you know the different subgenres of horror, is that maybe some people from the outside they don't get it. Like if you ask my mom, anything with blood is horror. But you know, obviously a zombie movie is not a vampire movie it's not a slasher movie. And the fans are very knowledgeable and they see a lot and they come to places like FrightFest and they talk a lot and they talk with the filmmakers. And you really need to respect the fans. You can't just put something together and shoot it out to the world because they will catch you. You know, the fans know what they're talking about. A lot of times much better than you. So I think it's making horror films. I think from the outside, some people think, oh, it's easy. Oh, let's just get some good-looking girls and put some fake blood in it. But actually, to do it right, you really need to give attention to the details. And the fans are great because they're really communicative. And we meet people every year in FrightFest or Fantasia or South by. And you know, it's like, hey, I saw you here 2 years ago and 3 years ago. And oh, I love this. And they talk to you and they give you feedback. And it's really fantastic. So it's one of the genres that we like to be in. I mean, we make animation, we make family movies too, but you know, genre is the one that you really connect with the fan.